How to stay anywhere in the world for free. Okay, so I've been traveling for a year now, and I will tell you it's not that hard to stay anywhere in the world for free. And I'm going to give you a couple of examples. But first, let me give you a story. So I met this person and they were traveling. It's really cool how you meet people with different life stories. Because in America, what we are trained to do is go and get a 9 to 5. And then once we get a 9 to 5, we can climb the corporate ladder, work for 40 years, and then one day retire. And then hopefully we can travel the world and enjoy life for maybe 10, 15 seconds, right? That's what people learn to do. That's the US. But there are so many different lifestyle choices that you can make. So I met this person, and what they were doing with their life is that they would move to a new country, find a job at a coffee shop, work there during the day from 8 until maybe 2 p.m. And then for the rest of their time, they would just travel. And if they wanted to take a day off, they could. Maybe they work there 4 or 5 days a week, but they would just move, save up, move. And that's what they've been doing for the last 10 years. How cool is that? That's not an online job. That's a lifestyle that they just move from country to country. Obviously, they have their passport renewed, etc., but they've been doing that for the last decade. And that's a pretty cool thing. So you may be actually interested in something like that, which is like a nomad lifestyle. You don't have to work and then travel, and then work and then travel, and then go back home and then travel. You could just get on the road permanently. And I think that's a pretty cool thing. So if that's something that you're interested in, cool, no problem. But if you do want to travel for free, here's one of the first apps that you're going to want to learn how to do it. So for one, there's this cool app called Skiplag. They're not a sponsor, but I'm a huge fan. Skiplag, what they allow people to do is that, let's say there's a connecting flight from Brazil, Sao Paulo, let's say, to New York to London. What Skiplag will allow you to do is to just buy a ticket half price from here to New York, even though the plane and the entire trip is going from here to London. So then what they're essentially doing is giving you just the ability to buy one half or one leg of that flight and kind of via taxi onto that. Now, they are so good at what they do that they were actually sued by airlines because they didn't want to allow Skiplag to do this. That's how good it is. So then when I discovered Skiplag, I was like, oh, well, if it's so good that they have to be sued and they're saving people money, I'm a big fan. I got on Skiplag. I've been able to travel for really, really little prices. Now, I like a bit of comfort, so I do spend a bit more money. But if you're just starting out and you want to travel, you should check out Skiplag. And then, by the way, if you have another option or if you have experience with Skiplag, let me know down in the comments because I'm always looking for new ways and recommendations for the people who watch. Okay, cool. So the next app or website I have to give you is Trusted House Sitters. Now this app is really cool, right? So trustedhousesitters.com, what they allow you to do is that there are a bunch of people all over the world, very nice houses, right? Houses with chalets and cabins and farms with tons of horses and dogs and cats and whatever. And what you have these people do is that they'll go away for 6 months to Europe, or they'll go away for 2 weeks to Europe or Italy or whatever. Well, Italy, Europe, right? Okay. But they'll go away for a reason on vacation. But they don't want to take their dog with them, or they don't want to leave their house empty. So they'll hire you to just sit there in their property for free. Regardless of what you are doing, all you need to do is pass a couple background checks and pay. Costs $99 a year. However, $99 a year is not even maybe 2 weeks of rent. That's what they use to maintain the site and obviously pay their staff, etc. So then that's a pretty reasonable payment to make to the site. In exchange, you get to travel from place to place to place to place to place, staying for 2 weeks here, 2 months here, 1 month here, in a really 5-star house. Already has everything you need, full kitchen, maybe has a dog with it that you can play with, that has a nice backyard, and you get to stay there for free. You don't pay anything else after you pay that $99. All you have to do is get there. That's amazing. And you have a kitchen. You have the entire house to yourself. Now, if you want to travel with a partner, I think that's a pretty cool thing. So then trustedhousesitters.com, that's another website that you really want to look into. Now, this last thing is a bit controversial, but it's called credit stacking. Now, I'm not sure if you know about credit stacking, but I'll explain it briefly. Credit stacking is when you open a new credit card. Let's say you were going to spend money on something anyway. Now, let's say you're going to buy, for example, a new fridge that costs $1,000. When you open up that new fridge and pay for it on your credit, when you open up that new credit card, get the new fridge and pay for it on your credit card, then the credit card company will give you, let's say, 50,000 points just for spending a certain number during a certain time frame. So when you get that 50,000 points, if you redeem that for flights, that's 500, that's $1,000, depending on how you convert those points. That's a good chunk of change. Now, if you're going from here halfway across the country, that's probably half of a flight. But if you're just going from country to country to country, that's maybe 2 or 3 flights for that $500. So then actually you can travel a lot if you are planning it that way by just opening up 1 or 2 or 3 credit cards on purchases that you would have made anyway. Then you can save up these points to the point where you have maybe 500,000 airline miles or points that you can just spend and really keep breaking in those points. So then if you want to maybe do that plan, you can start credit stacking from now so that you, in 2026, you first heard it here, you actually get to start traveling for free using these 3 tips. All right, if you found that helpful, trust me, I have plenty more content for you. And there's a playlist here that I think you might like. I'll see you next week. Click to watch.